In today's video, first thing I'm going to do is get under the hood, pull up the hood, use the slash to hold the hood. With a flathead screwdriver, I'm going to undo the PCV hose. With the same flathead screwdriver, I'm going to undo the breather hose. Next, I'm going to unplug the connector to the ignition coil. Also remember to disconnect the one on the left side. Then I'm going to disconnect the spark plug wire from the ignition coil. The socket size for these two bolts is 10 millimeters. And out come the spark plug cable. And out comes the coil. And now I'm gonna work on the right side coil. I'm just gonna break loose these two bolts really fast. As you can see, these bolts are not in really tight. I can undo it by hand. And out come the last coil. And don't forget this spark plug cable right here. Then I'm gonna undo this harness that's clipped onto the cover. And there is also one on the right side. Next, you could undo this clip with a 10 millimeter socket, or just undo the throttle cable from the hook. The next step is taking off the 6 bolt with a 10 millimeter socket. And that'll be the first one. The next bolt I'm going to take off is on the top right. And this bolt is the hardest one to get because you can see here I'm trying to fish it out without dropping it. And the next bolt I'm going to take off is straight down. It's nice and easy. And there you go. The next bolt you're going to take off is on the top left. It's fairly easy, but you have these wires in the way. The next two bolts are the middle one. In which order, it don't really matter. It's up to you. Once this last bolt is removed, you should be able to take off the cover. You might have to wiggle or pry the cover for it to come off. On the workbench, I'm going to remove the old gasket, which is just black RTV silicone. Taking off this silicone is much more difficult than it looks. Removing the old gasket is probably the hardest part of this repair. Do be careful not to cut yourself while you're taking off the gasket. I'm almost done. And there goes the old gasket. With a clean paper towel, I'm going to clean off the oil, residue, or any remaining gasket. Next, I'm going to get one of these bottle of brake cleaner. I'm using brake cleaner because it doesn't leave any residue and it dries up really fast. Now I'm going to wipe it down again with a clean piece of paper towel. You know, I should be doing this on a workbench, but I didn't want the bench to get dirty. Next, with the same bottle of brake cleaner, I'm going to get it nice and spray down. And let's get the other side too. And that's about good. Let's move on to the next step. While the cover is sitting on this pillar to dry out, I'm gonna go work on the engine. With another clean piece of paper towel, I'm gonna clean off the oil, residue, and any remaining gasket on the engine side. Lucky me, I did not need to scrape off any gasket. Since I got the valve cover gasket off, I might as well go ahead and replace the spark plug tube seals. They do sell the valve cover gasket and the spark plug tube seal as a set. Here you can see me spraying some brake cleaner on a clean piece of paper towel. With that paper towel, I'm going to use it to wipe the spark plug tube. With that same paper towel, let's go ahead and wipe down this edge. Because you will need this edge nice and clean for the valve cover gasket. And goes the new spark plug tube seal. And there goes the second one. The third one. And the last one. Next, I'm going to get one of these bottles of spray-a-gasket sealing. This will be sprayed in the little groove where the gasket will sit. This spray will help prevent oil from leaking from the top of the gasket, and it will also act as the glue to hold the gasket to the cover when I'm ready to reinstall it to the engine. As you can see, it fits snugly into the groove. And because I have it nice and clean, it's gonna have a good bond to the surface. I'll let this sit for a minute and it'll be ready to go. Next, I'll be using this blue gasket maker by Permadex. This silicone will help prevent oil from leaking from the bottom of the gasket. The directions say to apply this silicone on a clean, dry surface. The direction also said to surround all the bolt holes with the silicone. This part is going to take me a while to apply the silicone, so just going to fast forward for a bit. And there we go. Now I'm going to assemble the part right away while the silicone is still wet. I'm trying to flop the cover on top of the engine without smearing the silicone. Not perfect, but pretty good. I'm going to proceed to put the 6th bolt back on, and I need to move the cover a little bit, and that's okay. And that's the first one. Second one. Third one. Fourth one. The 5th one. And the last one. I'm going to just hand tighten these bolts until the silicone begins to squeeze out around the flange. Next, after this, the directions say to let the silicone dry for 1 hour, then tighten to torque spec. The torque spec for the 6th bolt is 27 plus or minus 4 inch-pound. I'm torquing this in a star pattern, so I went bottom left and now it's top right. Straight down to bottom right. Across to top left. If you haven't noticed, you do not hear the click of the torque wrench, but you do feel it. And this will be the last bolt. And now we just reassemble everything back in the reverse order. And goes the breather hose. And the right side harness back onto the cover. And the left side harness. There go the left side ignition coil. The right side ignition coil. There goes the left side spark plug wire. And the right side spark plug wire. You should hand tighten these bolts first because you don't want to strip the thread. And there goes the second bolt. It's nice and snug. And next, I'm going to put the 2 bolt for the right coil. With a socket and a stanchion, you could get this done a lot faster. And the right side is nice and snug too. And now let's plug in the spark plug wire. And remember, there's 2 of them. Since we're at it, let's plug in the connector for the ignition coil. And don't forget the left side have one too. And before torquing everything down, let's connect this throttle cable back on. Did you know that this bolt have a torque spec? But I'm just gonna hand tighten this bolt because it does not affect engine performance. And the only thing that need to be torqued now is the ignition coil. And the torque spec for these bolts is 89 plus or minus 17 inch-pound. Here you could slightly hear the click when using the torque wrench. The directions say to allow 24 hours for the silicone to be fully cured. I guess I'll have to wait a day before I drive my car. And my work is done for now. I have already taken my car out for a drive, and as you can see, it's dry. Besides being dirty, it's pretty dry. I seen an oil leak. And I'll say that is a job well done. Click that like button if you found this video useful. Subscribe for future updates. And again, thanks for watching.